Okay, boys, we are actually bound to talk about some Ashes of Creation drama. This video actually just popped on my screen. I didn't even plan to, feature it on stream, but, when life gave you lemons, right? So, Steven Sharif responds to my coverage, Ashes of Creation situation. In case you are unaware, this guy is Nephis HQ, aka Casper. Really great guy, did a lot of great job covering this entire Ashes of Creation drama and downfall. So, today, I guess Steven just responded to him. And we know how Steven do when he actually responds to something. So, this is going to be interesting.
So, Steven, I really appreciate you continuing to talk with me.
Oh, wait, he had him live?
Just focus on me if you want. So, that's me talking directly to Steven Sharif, who was typing in our Twitch chat on one of our live streams last month. I'm offering him a platform for an interview with him in any format, of any kind, even under legal agreements if need be. I've offered the exact same thing to many other people and sources for not just...
How many of you guys think that Kira is mad right now? There's no way Kira isn't fuming. I know Kira has been beefing with Casper because, Casper has been pretty consistent and very early at reporting about all of this, and Kira was seething with rage because of that. Now, I don't know why, because Kira could have done the same, but for some reason he tells other people to just not listen to anyone but him, which is super cringe, especially if you consider yourself to be like a game journalist and all of that stuff, in pursuit of the truth. I don't think that Nephis has done anything in bad faith. I think all of the information he had gotten to us was completely valid, and he waited until it was verified. So he didn't just jump the gun, and I appreciate that about him. So I really don't know why Kira is beefing with him right now, but it is kind of cringe.
Ashes of Creation, but other stories as well. There's just been so much information put out there across different fragments that it can be hard to keep up, so I'm making this video so we can all be on the same page. We're going to not only cover the actual court transcripts of the legal battle thus far between Intrepid Studios and TFE Games in California and federal court, but also the recent insinuations and allegations leveled against the work that we've done in covering the Ashes Creation situation. The court transcripts were unearthed by content creator Theory Forge, shout out to him for covering the legalities. The links to his video and court transcripts are in the video description below for anyone to view his explanation of the court proceedings, and also to read over the entirety of what was said in the court between the judge and lawyers. Basically, the court did find the Article 9 foreclosure that's been referenced by Steven Sharif since March to be problematic.
Bogus.
I think the judge presiding over this in the March and April hearings was definitely a no-nonsense person, saying things like, everything that each of you is saying cannot possibly be true. You're all officers of the court. Look at what you've submitted in your pleadings because there are factual inconsistencies that cannot both possibly be true. Client control is very important, and perhaps the misinformation comes from what your client, for the plaintiffs, is telling you. Perhaps clients for the defense is saying something else. You need to be in control of what you file before me because you're the lawyers on the case. By the time of the April 2nd hearing, the reversal of the foreclosure and the return of assets back from TFE to Intrepid Studios basically de-escalated things in the eyes of the court, with the judge also finding no reason to dismiss TFE's lawyer after a whole debate over that since the March hearing. Basically, from my understanding, that debate was over whether or not Steven talking to the TFE Games lawyer back in 2024 about possibly filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy for Intrepid Studios constituted a conflict of interest for this legal case. Anyway, the judge stated, I find this issue is now moot. The trade secrets are returned to Intrepid, and there are no longer serious questions going to the merits on the misappropriation of trade secrets claims. The Ninth Circuit sliding...
Okay, so basically they said Steven owns nothing, if I understand this correctly. Like, there is no dispute here.
Scale test for issuance of a preliminary injunction no longer comes out in favor of injunction. Accordingly, I find no cause for a preliminary injunction to issue. The temporary restraining order has expired. Finally, I am setting a deadline for the defendants to respond to the complaints by April 23rd, 2026.
Oh, damn. Wait, what? That's really soon. Okay, interesting. So they really want to rush things. Okay. I mean, I guess that's good. Like, more content for us to cover, right? But yeah, I mean, everyone who ever saw Steven's claim for the first time knew they stood on absolutely nothing. And Steven tried to portray it as like a major W of, oh, we stopped their access to the banks and it's okay. And brother, if you know anything, you understand that that was just temporary thing that Steven did until everything got cleared out. And once it was cleared, which happened really fast, nobody cared anymore. So he tried to portray it as like a major win for him to just, I don't know, squeeze in more audience sympathy. I really can't tell what was the idea behind it. I mean, this man's ego is so inflated, you really cannot predict his next move. He can do the dumbest crap you've ever seen in your life just to make sure a few Redditors actually still likes him. It's insane. Like, this man is unhinged.
Towards the end, once the judge puts her foot down on her ruling, you can kind of sense the restrained glee in the words of Rob Dawson's lawyer, who stated,
Steven was a real delight as a guild leader in ARPGs, let me tell you. Hey, he offered you $200 per week too? And a trip to Vegas? I don't think so.
I anticipate if we do go forward with the sale, we'll file a notice of that with the court.
Damn.
So it's clear for everyone when that started, Your Honor. There will be no secrets to that point, Your Honor. We do not intend to run down the same path and find ourselves in front of you, Your Honor. I don't want to be lectured again for that. So now we have yet another confirmation of what more sources told me happened at the courthouse back on April 2nd, which I was banned for simply relaying from the official Ashes Discord server and subreddit.
I wonder why.
My former Intrepid Studio CEO.
No, you can't speak the truth in my Discord server. Shame on you. Wow, what a great man Steven Sharif is. Trying to hide the truth, and then he's surprised why people are against him. I mean, of course, he knows that deep inside, he knows that he's screwed. I really don't understand what his long game plan is. I really just don't understand.
So, Steven Sharif, on Valentine's Day,
no,
I'm gonna call Jason.
oh my god.
And I'd be like, Jason, could you lend me just a small amount of $5 million?
I'm gonna throw something.
Please, Daddy Jason. No, I'm just fucking her up. I love that.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I see other streamers set up and it looks like this, I feel bad. It's the same when I watched Rose stream and I realized he had 7 different screens. And then I looked at my 2-screen setup and went like, yep, I guess I'm back to the Stone Ages, boys.
On the other matters for the video, there's been a few people saying I have no journalistic integrity.
His desk looks like a rocket ship.
Compromised or being given blatantly false information by one side, and that outspoken parties like Jason Karamanis should not have done what he did, legally speaking. I keep telling him he needs to check with the lawyer. He needs to check with his lawyer, and I keep telling him, hey, I'm gonna be really careful with the stuff you're sending me because there's a lot of personal information, bro. In the stuff you're sending me, and I offered him
humble beginnings. True, I guess you can call it that. And you don't need 20 screens, man. But why everyone else has 20 screens? That is the part that I don't understand. It's like, okay, if it was one person, sure, but it's every other streamer I see. It's interesting. I just want to see a streamer with a singular screen and an ashtray on his table, and that's it, okay? Then I would be satisfied, because I would understand that it is unnecessary to be successful.
We can sign an NDA. And he was just like, nah, I can't control what people say or do. I can't force people to talk.
It was Kira. Wait.
I can't control.
Okay, it was Kira. I think he mentioned the beef. Oh, let's see. Yesterday. I have nothing against him, nor do I know him. He's talking about Casper, by the way, the guy who's making this video. But the moment I heard Jason on his stream say that they need to get him paid and that so many people would want to work with him and offering him lavish trips to his luxury penthouse in Vegas, combined with the constant platforming of opinion without evidence. Who claimed it was a platforming of opinion without evidence? He had evidence. He literally spoke to the dude who made the deal with Steven Sharif. And he actually brought in the papers, right? He actually had receipts. Jason sent him everything. Now, you can hate on Jason because he's a scammy MLM guy, and I would 100% agree with you, but he did show receipts, so what are we talking about here? It's kind of a weird text from Kira, really, really weird. It's like he's a child throwing tantrum. I really had a lot of respect for him, but after seeing everything unfold with Ashes, I'm really just shocked, honestly. It just made me completely ignore it. Not only can you not entertain that without immediate reprimand, but to let someone do it publicly and not address it publicly as soon as it happens makes your credibility basically zero. Again, who are you to decide that? It's such a weird take. I mean, damn, that is really disappointing. Extremely disappointing from Kira. I mean, yeah.
Control what people say or do. I can't force people to talk or not talk, so I'm not sure why the concern over someone's legal safety that they're voluntarily risking has anything to do with me. I also don't agree that just because your sources say something you disagree with, you should drop them immediately. I also disagree with you.
Of course, you are not involved in this. I mean, you are, but not to a degree where you should muzzle other people because you think their opinion is wrong. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Your job is to report, okay? If you claim to be like so-called gaming journalist, okay, your job is to report, and it's to report the facts. Now, the fact is that someone is putting out a certain accusation. Now, you should 100% mention that it is not 100% confirmed. This is an accusation. You should make it known. You shouldn't like outright say it as a fact. But at the same time, you have to report it, right? You have a moral, how do I say that? Like obligation, right? Like you have a moral obligation to report it, right? So at least in my opinion. So it's really just weird. Kira's claiming all of that.
Opinion that building rapport with sources.
What? You shouldn't despise small craftsmen like you, especially if it's done with a heart. Thank you. Thank you, Ezekiel. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's a Roach King setup, except swap ashtray and beef for Wendy's and sodas. The moment I reached Asmon level, I'm gonna have like, I don't know, piss cups on my tables. Like, you know, you have to go this route. It's the only way to be successful. But I don't want rats in my ceiling. I don't want like asbestos. You know, it feels kind of bad, and my room is kind of clean, so maybe it's not the best possible course of action, at least health-wise.
Means you're somehow inherently biased towards them forever.
I do have roaches, though.
And will always swallow all of what they say as the hard truth. Personally, I found another YouTuber called Kira claiming I'm a sock puppet for the Ashes of Creation investors actually really funny, so no offense taken on that remark. Pertaining to whatever else was said after that by whoever that was forwarded to me by so many people, I'm just confused as to why things of that nature, debasing me, are never delivered to me or, you know, anyone in this situation directly. Fortunately, the majority of my experience in covering this mess has been largely positive, with many other creators and people reaching out to me out of concern. It's never my intention for any single individual or party to be harassed over the whole Ashes of Creation situation or any situation, and I'm hoping others feel the same. The critical purpose of my recent videos, as I view it, is simply publishing the untold stories, publishing information so that people do get a closure of what happened. I'm also of the philosophy that the more information there is for anyone to draw their conclusions from, the better it is for a more democratic and open
Absolutely.
space.
He's right, 100%.
I've never been paid by any source or party to get their perspectives or information out there. I never will. I have never paid or coerced anyone to issue defamatory statements or give me stories so I can get clicks. I never will. I believe I have gone to the proper lengths to protect the privacy and safety of a lot of people, especially the former developers and employees of Intrepid Studios who were gracious enough to be interviewed or to answer questions a lot of us had. The published ledger also excluded the names of said employees and other people not central to our findings, as we stated in the recent video. And I've reiterated that I am more than willing to be transparent about my financials. The only parties financially involved related to any of this are the ads from the YouTube videos and Cobb, my human thumbnail artist that I pay for.
Brother, you don't need to justify doing some good work out there, okay? People are bound to hate you no matter what you do, so it's better to just lay out the facts and keep on raking W's. And that's what you're currently doing. I mean, if some other content creator is mad because you got there before him, let him. I mean, instead of improving, he's seeking to take you down, which is the saddest, most pathetic thing ever. And I actually had a lot of respect for Kira, but nowadays it's almost completely gone.
Making YouTube thumbnails. To the best of my knowledge, the testimonies and information, including the published Ashes of Creation General Ledger, I have...
I wouldn't be surprised if Blizzard hired Steven with the decisions they've been making lately. Brother, you know what's the most ironic thing here? I think Steven would actually be a net positive for Blizzard at this point. They are at such a low point. Nothing they do is good. Nothing. I actually have no idea what the hell is going on with them.
Shared up until this point.
Only time would tell.
Have been from sources that, as far as our given efforts show, are verified or legitimate. I am unaware of anything we've shared that has been proven to be blatantly false. Even the tidbit about Riot Games being a potential buyer of Ashes of Creation and Intrepid Studios has turned out to be largely true, it seems, even according to Steven Sharif himself.
What?
The new filing on April 14th today, which we'll cover in the...
Well, I mean, to be fair, Riot is known and pretty much notorious for purchasing smaller companies and just destroying their games, but Ashes seemed to do pretty well on its own, so Riot isn't needed here. It's fine.
The Intrepid Studios investor pitch deck that I published, which a lot of people still believe is fake or was never used for an actual board meeting, had been circulating among other circles and creators for a while. But because I wanted to make sure we had enough digital evidence and corroboration from multiple sources, it took this channel an additional 2 months after everyone already had it to even publish a video talking about it. Furthermore, I strongly believe that the PowerPoint file we published does not make the board or investors look good at all, so I am confused as to why people are thinking I only publish things that make Steven's legal opposition look great. In fact, if you watch the video where the former developers speak out, a lot of them had great things to say about Steven as a person and as a business leader that I included in the video. I didn't cherry pick the worst of the worst things at all. And when Steven came by our live stream, we actually banned viewers who were saying horrible things towards him. I believe I am very careful with what I say or put out, which I hope is part of the reason why the mysterious privacy complaint didn't take down that recent video about the Ashes of Creation legend.
Well, hi, it's from the YouTube support team. We would like to inform you that we have received a privacy concern about your content. Before we review the content, we would like to give you an opportunity to review, if necessary, modify and remove potentially private information. Receiving this notice does not imply violation of YouTube guidelines, and okay. Oh, so one of his videos, it has been flagged. These are like the timestamps. So his video was in like a privacy violation breach. Interesting. No, but yeah, I guess no. And they didn't take it down, so I guess he was right.
Sure. And if you're seeing me saying things like I was personally banned by former Intrepid Studios CEO Steven Sharif from the official Ashes of Creation Discord server and the official Ashes subreddit, after simply relaying the news of his legal defeat from the April 2nd hearing in the Federal Court of California, you can assume I may have pretty strong substantial evidence to support such statements. Recently, Steven Sharif issued a response through news outlet Kotaku that had also reached out to me in regards to the publication of the general ledger that I decided to share.
Wait, Kotaku is still alive? I thought they shut it down for some reason. Damn, that's crazy. They can give another dumb ideological game that enforces their doctrine on you and their certain life view, another 10 out of 10 while giving like video games that everyone play like, I don't know, 2. So I guess it is what it is. They're still living.
As part of my aforementioned philosophy. Intrepid Studios founder Steven Sharif has provided the following statement in response to the latest allegations from YouTuber NefusQS. NefusQS has been fed false and defamatory information by individuals with an axe to grind in an effort to litigate this dispute in the public domain alongside our lawsuit already pending in federal court. Rather than verify those claims, he has chosen to repeat them, acting as a mouthpiece to advance a narrative that drives clicks and views with disregard for basic journalistic standards.
What?
The selective presentation...
Bro, what basic journalistic standard? Have you seen what it's like out there? Everyone just straight out lying, and what are you even talking about here? I mean, this man has done more than any other major news outlet these days are doing. So, like, why are we pretending here? Are you trying to, like, grab him and, like, catch him on, like, get a gotcha moment over him because, oh, you said a thing that may have not potentially been true? It doesn't matter. He didn't advocate for it. He just repeated what other people have told him. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. As long as he did not state it as a fact, you can pin anything on him. That is the dumbest claim I've ever heard in my life. I mean, people have completely lost it nowadays.
Of information is intentional and serves to create a false narrative. As to the broader claims, there was no misappropriation of Kickstarter funds whatsoever. The project has been funded over many years through a combination of sources, including substantial personal capital. Assertions regarding lavish lifestyle or personal misuse of company funds are categorically false. An examination of the facts through the judicial process has already revealed that the parties behind these claims orchestrated an unlawful foreclosure to take control of Intrepid's assets from the people who built Ashes of Creation with the intent to exploit those assets for their own benefit. In the process, hundreds of developers were terminated without advance notice pay or benefits in violation of applicable law. These issues are being addressed through the legal process. Tomorrow we'll be filing additional materials in federal court that set out the evidence and further demonstrate the nature and intent behind the conduct that led to the destruction of Intrepid. First, I want to...
Man, I cannot wait until the day Steven actually reaches the important part in court where he has to prove himself innocent and he has nothing. Like, you know, he has nothing, and I cannot wait for that day to come. I honestly cannot. Because you know he's just going to stand there and be like, oh, but I got a Reddit community behind me, and I got, like, Discord members that I haven't banned yet, and they say that I'm right. And a judge would go like, damn, that's crazy, bro. Here's some jail time. Enjoy. It's going to be so delightful for me to watch, honestly. Like, it's so stupid. You can easily go back and refute every single thing that Steven has said or done in the past years. I mean, you can literally go back and see him say, and hear him say multiple times, there is no one funding this game but me. I'm the only singular being that is responsible for Ashes of Creation, and that was false from the very beginning. So, I don't know what he's trying to pull off here. I honestly don't care. I just cannot wait for the day he would actually get some justice served.
Clarify, as I did with Dexerto and other outlets, that I never alleged in the recent video that Kickstarter funds were misused. If that's something other people have drawn conclusions about from them looking at the ledger, that's their conclusions. I'm thinking some of the news aggregators just used Kickstarter to grab people's attention, and maybe that's where the assumption is coming from. Next, I do want to acknowledge Steven's perspective here as valid in regards to me being in contact with multiple sources, some of them who are indeed in litigation against Steven or Intrepid Studios and vice versa. Absolutely, I think people should have some level of doubt or skepticism as to why this random YouTuber has certain information,
but you also extended your hand to Steven and he chose to spit on it, so it's his fault. It's not like you didn't try to contact both sides, you have. So you did the right thing. The fact that only one side was, well, not really able, just wanting to actually share information with you, it just goes to show who's right and who's wrong, right? Because why Steven would actually refuse to speak with you if he has the receipts, if he's in the right? Like, why would he do that?
After that question has already been answered multiple times.
But I reached out to you because I felt that your content was very fair. You weren't pretty much completely throwing Steven under the bus, but you had a lot of questions. And when I went through about 15 to 20 people on the internet, I found yours, and I reached out to you, and you responded, and that's why I said, hey, we got on the phone and we had a great conversation. And you know, I respect the work that you did and the way you delivered it and how you presented it. It was great. I think you did an amazing job. So
I will dispute Steven's public statement in saying that I'm only choosing to repeat claims given to me by any party, acting as a mouthpiece to advance a narrative that drives clicks and views. I am still confused as to why I was banned by Steven Sharif after being thanked by him for my coverage. And I'll refute the insinuation that I am simply acting as a...
You have been thanked by him and then he instantly banned you, of course, because it's all about optics for Steven. He doesn't really care. He just wants to be seen as some sort of a hero that would come and sweep Ashes of Creation from the hands of the evil tyrants that demolished it and butchered it and just tore it and stepped on it until it was dead. No, he's the hero. He's not at fault here. Okay, True Chief, what have you done in 8+ years of development that was for the betterment of the game? Except for taking ludicrous amounts of money per month, even though your workers worked for essentially nothing and got their payment skipped, right? They didn't get paid on time. They didn't even get severance after all of this went down and all of that. So you can hire a private chef. I'm sorry. Culinary expert at Ashes of Creation Studios that was of course necessary, just alongside the chocolate fondue guy. True, I agree, but at the same time, brother, come on. you saw what you've done all of these years. You created nothing. With all of that money, you could have actually made a really great game if you actually put your mind to it. But no, you chose to do nothing but try to just, girl boss your way, even though, it is what it is, right? You try to just make yourself seem like the ultimate great boss, and you came up with nothing for 8+ years. It's not only mismanagement, it just turned it into a scam. Honestly, like misbehaving with so much money in your hands, it should be a crime. I think it is. It might be. I'm not that familiar with the law. But taking all of this funding and turn it into literal hot garbage, that's on you. Because you could have done something great with it. You could have paid a professional to actually work on your game and take it in a better direction. And you would have had a viable product by now. But no, you chose to take all the power. You consolidated all of the power in your hands and your husband's hands. And you did nothing except purchasing a mansion, which I guess nobody else is going to enjoy but you.
Mouthpiece, we're only listening to one party, as I have on multiple.
Are they still awaiting payment? Yes. Yeah, they still haven't figured this part out. It's so unfortunate. So many developers were actually in the dark about this. They still are.
Occasions reached out to him or had correspondence with Steven Sharif publicly and privately,
as far as I'm
offering to
aware
share
of,
his
at least.
accounting in any shape or form. Part of a text message I sent to him on March 9th at 7:35 p.m. US Eastern says, "We've been hearing a lot from other people and perspectives, but I still personally believe you have very important things to share from your side of the story that contradict the board's lawsuit and raises serious questions. There are things from your side I especially think people would like to hear on, such as the notable inconsistencies between the April and December 2025 statements in regard to the CFO position that your counter lawsuit mentioned. I think countless people, including your former team, who have given glowing testimonies of you as a leader before all of this happened, would be more than willing to hear your personal accounts of the threats mentioned in your lawsuit and what led to your team's tragic collapse. I know this may be hard for some in the comment section to believe, but I cannot force anyone to agree to an interview. I cannot force anyone to share anything they don't want to share. So if Steven doesn't want to share anything or just ignores me as he did, I can only work with what I get, which unfortunately at this point in time is everybody else except Steven Sharif. I'll give a disclaimer here that, as alluded to by Steven, I am not a professional journalist. The only journalism background I have is from 2011 to 2013 for an online newspaper, which is why I have stated things active, professional journalist.
I mean, have you seen the so-called professional journalists nowadays? To call them journalists would be an insult to everyone who actually played a part in becoming a journalist and like making it a good thing. It's a damn shame. So what you're doing is 10 times better than what Kotaku and all of the IGN and all of these weirdos are doing nowadays. What you're doing right now is actually good work. So don't be too hard on yourself.
Would never say things like, I talk to my sources off the record. I am, however, qualified to work in other fields like biotechnology and history, and I strongly believe that our coverage of anything Ashes, since being reached out to by multiple sources, would be ascribed, I hope, some qualities of journalistic standards by many people. But again, I'm human. And if there is ever something that anyone watching wants to critique or offer feedback on, please just give it to me straight. I'm all for improving anything, so I appreciate those who have been giving me a lot of advice.
Nah, don't change anything, son. You're doing extremely well. It was a great video. I mean, I'm gonna leave obviously a link in the description. You guys should watch it for yourself. Give him a like and a sub. This man has done a fantastic job covering the entire Ashes of Creation drama and shenaniganry. I mean, he's been doing a fantastic job just staying neutral, in my opinion. I don't think he was slanted toward one side or the other. He did extend his hand to all parties involved, and I think he's great for it. So yeah, I really like his stuff. I'm gonna continue following him because he's just amazing. He deserves that.